of things that are not going well, but I want you to kind of think about the things that are most vital to the success of the association, of the team. And then we'll be able to kind of break that down more later on. So welcome again, everyone. And I'd like to start in alphabetical order with Abigail, then Khadija, then Adian, then Romelda, and Crystal. That's how it's lined up in my participant list. So we'll go in that order. So first up, I think we have Abigail. Please introduce yourself for me. I want to get to know you a little bit. And one thing or more that's going well with the team, and balance that off with something that can be improved. Go ahead, Abigail.
Good. That we're on upward mobility, like each time we're doing better. Something that could be improved.
All right, okay. Thanks, Abigail. Great. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. So who do we have next? From my list, I see it's Khadija. Go ahead, Khadija. And if your mic isn't working, that's for anyone on the call. If your mic isn't working so well, you can always just start typing. All right, so that's once we come to you, we already have your thoughts. So do have Khadija. Hi, Khadija, how are you doing? Can you open your mic? I'm not hearing you as it. All right, we'll give Khadija some time and we'll go to Aidan. All right, I saw you know, Khadija, don't worry. All right. Okay, once you can speak, just send a text so we can know. Hey, Aidan, how are you doing? Or is it Aideen? I don't want to.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Aideen Thomas. One thing that's going well for the team is that our bond continues to grow. And one thing that should be worked on is communication.
All right. Thanks so much. And we move to Romelda. And Crystal, I see your note.
Hi, I'm Romelda Aiken George. I live in Australia. I think one thing that's been going for us, I think as a group, we continue to grow despite, you know, everything that throws at us. And yeah, I do agree with the girls. Communication is one of our biggest aspects. And we need to be better at that and to continue to try and be more professional. Thank you.
All right, okay. All right, so I think we have the views of those who have or are able to speak. I see that Crystal and Khadija, we have a little difficulty just now. All right, okay, so from what has been said is that, you know, there's some good things that are going on. You know, things are moving in a general right direction as a team, meaning a team player to team player. There's bonding and you're seeing a lot of positives in that regard. But the constant, the repeated recurrent decimal is communication. Communication as it relates to being transparent and also the kind of professionalism that should go along with that. So let's unpack that. I mean, tell me some more, especially who would have spoken, Abigail, Adian, and also Romelda. What do we mean? I mean, so communication, transparency, professionalism. What are we talking about here? I come as a clean slate, as I said, a very big error. one of my professions, which I think the reason why I was called into to be here is that I'm a listening expert, right? One thing that I'm expert at is listening. I may not have, the golden advice at a particular point in time, but to listen, to understand, and to kind of rephrase and reflect the truest emotions of what is being shared here. Okay, and I really want you to know that this is a very safe, secure, confidential environment. I'm a dead end in many ways. What you say, it just stays with me. And I have a creative way of at least creating a plan to be able to help the association see for real what is happening, take it even more serious than what obtains now, and for you to feel that there is real movement in some of the areas that we feel like we're stuck in as an association together. All right, so communication. Give me an example. What was the time where communication was the worst? Give me a nightmare scenario. Give me a scenario that really strikes you at a seat of emotion in terms of how bad, how ugly, how vindictive, how disrespectful things have been in recent times, either one-on-one personally, or to the team, or to a particular group of you that you think the association can do better. And the way that things are done, it can be done better. So Abigail, let me hear your thoughts first. And then we have Adian and then Romelda. Welcome, Katie. To come to you.
I don't think it's necessarily a particular scenario. I think it's something that is always a consistent issue with this group. I feel like we always fall back into our dirty ways, which is just being laid back and not being upfront in organizing things for us that we need as a group, and always, I guess, saying that, Jamaica doesn't have any money and blah, 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 and we have to seek sponsorship. And we've been hearing that from day one. Okay, well, the team or the association went and I think they did fundraising and all of that. And they said that something else. The girls can correct me. This is what I just read on WhatsApp. The girls will get money. All of a sudden, communication stopped. We never said that. We never did this. And I'm just like, well, where is the communication line has been lost, where we can't sit down and have an agreement and have a conversation about what the actual funding was about. The inconsistency, which in terms of getting prepared for World Cup, the girls need shoes, we get told we were going to get them, and then all of a sudden that just gone out the window, and they're going to say, oh, it's just late, rather than communicate with the group to say XYZ has happened, hence why the girls hasn't got any footwear to I guess wear to the games and stuff like that. So I think it's a mixture of a bunch of things that always happens consistently, and just lack of communication, really. That is the main issue, I guess, for me. The girls can speak on behalf of that, because maybe I don't have a lot of information when it regards to that, because I'm not on the island.
All right, thanks so much, Romelda. Katie.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
So we're talking about communication. For me, communication is free. I always express it to the organization. If you can't, and it's free. It's a simple things. I think they do everything when it's regarding to communication, well-being, training, getting paid. If we don't ask, so say for example, this happened, if we're supposed to get paid on the 7th or get our stipend, better we're done getting paid. It doesn't come on the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th. One of us has to say, hey, we didn't get the stipend. We wouldn't have known that they're in a little difficulty if one of the players didn't reach out and said the stipend hasn't gotten to us as yet. So little things like that, it's so free to just say, girls, send a message in the group or somebody send it on behalf of a captain for the captain to relay the message. It's so simple. The stipend is going to be late this week or this month or whatever, and just bear with us. We can't kill you, but I think communication is free and they're failing at the free things and everything else is money, money, money. So for me, if you can't live up to the standard to communicate with us, which is something that's free, and you just take a little time out of your day to just communicate whatever, that means you can't do the other things that will cost money. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that one. Yeah, that's I really feel that one. Thanks for sharing that example. That really shouldn't happen at all. All right, thanks, Katie. Who do we have next? Hi, Shamara. Oh, Shamara, how are you doing? All right,
I am
welcome.
okay, thank you.
All right,
I
great.
don't know where the meeting is at.
Well, okay, all right. So we're speaking about the communication issues, lack of transparency, lack of courtesy when things are changing and not being, and team members are not being updated as to what is happening. Does that resonate with you, Shamero?
Oh yes, it resonates with me. Terry, I fully agree with what Katie just said around the communication re-stipend, because if we have, well, we sign a contract for a specific date, and if it's going to be late, it's just a little communication to say, hey guys, we're having a little difficulty with the bank, stipend will be late, and all of that. And I think we need to live up to the contract as well, because contract is something very serious. So we have to live up. If we are expected to live up to the end of the contract, then the other party must live up to theirs. It cannot be one-sided, and it cannot be on the terms that the other party wants it to be.
Yes, I hear you, and I hear the emotions behind it. Who would like to comment on this? Is it that? Okay, hand is down. Okay, good. All right. Just trying to make sure. Hands up. Okay, go ahead, Katie. I was wondering if it was your hand up from before. Go again.
Me again, sir. Sorry, I had this as a second point. Also, I think as an organization, we eat the message in terms of that, what I'm saying. If I go to somebody and say, okay, I have this issue, they don't relate on to the necessary person. You have to come next week training or the next day training and still expressing the same thing that you told a manager or the president, for example. So I remember, I remember there was this player, well, a few of us are, anemic, iron deficient, and she was having difficulty with a session, and she expressed she expressed she's iron deficient, and she came, the coach didn't know that she was iron deficient and she's going to be on some iron tablets or whatever, forget about her iron. And they didn't relay the message. So every time she came to training, she has to be explaining herself why she's out of training. So I feel like that's just one example, and I'm sure that somebody can say, or somebody else doesn't have a shoe, cannot afford a shoe. They don't relay the message. Everybody, I feel, because I play professionally, I think everybody should know. If I have a problem, if I don't have the tool to train, everybody should know. Once I tell somebody, especially a manager, I think they should relay the message to the necessary person. So if the president should be aware, so when the president should walk in on the day, the president should be like, oh, I know that Katie doesn't have a shoe. Oh, I know that Katie is working with a doctor. Like, you should be informed that what is happening. You should not know because we express it to a necessary person.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. Yeah, that really should not happen at all. And that experience is a very horrible experience, because as if you're fighting to get attention, and these are very basic things, right? So I really feel that one. Thanks, Katie. I've really been helping a lot to kind of unearth what is going on.
Can I just add to
Ramondo,
that?
go ahead.
I
Yes.
think that has been a constant issue from I've been playing netball back in the days. Like, it has always been an issue. But I think because I personally don't want to be disrespectful, because not because like I've been over here and I've been given certain things, then when I come back to Jamaica or I'm playing for Jamaica, I'm like, we're still going through the same shit, even though we spend hours talking about the likes of making sure that the girls have footwear, making sure that we have nutrition, making sure that we have gears to training. And you know what? They're like, yes, it's in the pipeline. What a long pipeline, because we still haven't. And we just at World Cup the other day, we were doing the exact same thing we've been doing since 2005. Like, that's how bad things are. And they just keep saying, you know, we don't have this and we don't have that. I'm like, Jamaica has it. If we want it and we want it for it to benefit, they will find a way. So I think sometimes I get it. It's sometimes I get that it's kind of like lack of funding, but when we do get the funding, we need to like put things in place that we want, not put it where the sun is shining right now. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And as you said, it has been going on for quite a while. I mean, of course, as you said, there is a funding problem, but even if there is, you can still communicate in a way that persons understand what is going on, what can they truly expect. When the situation changes, for them to be in on it, to know is that, okay, so we have received some funds. Now, how is it going to be used? And is it being used in a way that lines up with the needs that have been stated over and over again, that have to be addressed and fulfilled. So yeah, that's definitely a huge issue. All right. Anyone else would like to share on the communication issues? Examples help a lot. Shimar, you wanted to say something about
I was going to say something, but it's not recommunicate. Well,
no,
communication.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think the team needs a nutritionist. We have a team with
nutritionist?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah.
We don't have any. Anyways, like when it comes on to protein powders and all of that, like for example, I did not play in Australia. I don't have anybody to go to say, hey, can I take this protein powder or anything like that. I have to be relying on my team overseas, but I know that the other girls would like protein but doesn't know what kind to take, and that's where the nutritionist comes in to help provide those information. And I tried to get onto a nutritionist, but I couldn't find one. The doctor couldn't find one as well. So I had to then went back to Thunderbirds just to ask where can I get protein outside of the one that they provided for me while I'm there because it only ships in Australia. But I couldn't find any, so I had to then go back to them for them to give me something outside of Australia that I could take.
All right. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for saying that. Wow.
I
All
passed
right.
on that information to the group as well because I know we don't nutritionist on board. So the information that I got from my nutritionist, in Australia, I passed it on to the girls because I know they would want protein powders as well, batch tested protein powders.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. We would like everyone to have a chance to share. Your particular experience may be a bit more unique, or you may be able to share a different perspective that underscores one of the main points, some of the main points that have been made surround a lack of organization, and therefore things not being properly organized. The communication is lacking, and when there are changes either as a result of a decision made by management or something outside of management's control, you're not being notified unless you go and ask about it. It's as if you had to be fighting with management to get information, and it's as if management is not advocating for you, right? So if you notify that someone is ill, someone has a deficiency or so forth, it's like you have to be telling each and every person afresh, which doesn't feel good, wouldn't feel good to anyone, because it feels as if, you know, what you're saying doesn't matter enough that it should be actually taken serious enough for some action at the leadership level to be done, to be made, to be executed for the betterment of you, if you're in that issue, in that problem, or your colleague, your team member who's experiencing that. And clearly, from what we've been seeing so far, sharing so far, this cannot be tolerated any longer. And the future success of the association is being hampered if this continues. It has been a status quo for quite a long while, and a change needs to be made. And we're going to be coming to the stage of, you know, what exactly can be done. And I'd like you to put yourself in the position of, you know, being, you know, the president or being in the leadership, the vice president, to really see what kind of structure is needed, what kind of change is really needed, and what you can probably bring to the table, right, to help with that change. We're going to be talking about what other associations, other countries, what they have done in their teams that we can do in Jamaica to make a solid difference, so that when we talk back 6 months from now, we can say that, hey, as a result of us sharing in this kind of format, these 3 things, there are many things to change, but these 3 things, which mean a lot to the success of the team, we are seeing a material change on it. Okay, so that's what we'd like to come out of this kind of session. We're still in the free-for-all phase of discussion. Anyone else would like to share something? I leave the mic open. You can just open your mic. You don't need to raise your hand. Right, just open your mic.
Katie has her hand up. Elliot?
Hi, sorry, me again. Let me give my team.
Yes, Katie. We're not tired of you.
Get their thoughts. Something that we can implement in terms of the communication to make sure that everybody's on the same page. If we're in training at the end of, I think, which is reasonable, at the end of every week, everybody should come together, like the physio, the masseuse, should come together, including the president, to get on the same page, whereas where the players are at in the gym, running on court, how health-wise, nutrition is, everything. So you can prepare for the next week. So you're closing the chapter on 1 week whilst preparing for the next week. So you're going to do better for the next week. So for example, can't say no. But ring my uncle in a training touch wood, that won't happen. You probably might alter, fix my load management. So I'll probably have 2 hours of training, probably train 1 hour, 30 minutes off legs, do more arms in the gym. You know, inform everybody. Everybody's on the same page. Nutritionists probably need become more protein so we can build more muscle. Then when we're slimmers, so probably they might think that we need more muscle, you know, to get stronger, which might, you know, make us play better. So things like that, I think they can conclude every week at a certain time, use an hour out of their time and just conclude on the team's performance and how the team is going.
Solid suggestion, yeah, and that's doable. It reminds you of a quote that says, "Your destiny is in the daily," and here you're proposing something weekly, because I mean, to really make true progress, you have to be able to measure it at a smaller scale, right? And so what you're saying is at the end of every week, everyone should come together, all the specialists, all the key support team members, along with the team players, to see how things went, how things have progressed, what should be done differently to get a different result, who needs more on the nutrition side, who needs more on the exercise, bodybuilding side, and to make sure that we're growing stronger and stronger as a team. All right. Katie, you've been a wonderful spokesperson so far. And if you concur with what Katie has said, anything that Katie has said, you can just put an amen or put a yes in the chat so that we know that Katie isn't alone on this. Yeah? All right, I'm looking out in the chat. Amen or yes? All right, I'm getting a few questions here directly. I'm just reading.
What was the question, sir? I was distracted.
No, man, you weren't distracted. No, I was just pausing to read some questions that were sent privately to me, right? Yeah, right. I was just taking the time. All right. So, I mean, a question to just throw out here, and look like we're having a church in here. I've seen a lot of amens. That's good. So this lack of transparency, lack of communication, and the view and experience where management has not been doing their part to help team players to have the best experience, have best development. To what extent did all of that affect what went on in the most recent episode, in the most recent World Cup that was held? So to what extent do these issues really impact what went on? And we want examples.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused with the question you just asked.
So, right, so the question that has been posed to me to ask here is, how has this lack of communication that we've been speaking about, how did that affect the recently held World Cup? Is there anything in particular that happened most recently that really strikes a chord to reinforce the need for greater communication, better management, better organization? Is there anything in most recent times that we'd like to draw out and highlight?
Just that when it comes to a major tour like that or any other tour, we have to get clothes before we left the country. It cannot be that the day before we wouldn't know if we have dress or anything like that. It cannot be like that. I know it was not their fault. It was probably a Gilbert fault, but we need to pick up Gilbert about it. We cannot get we cannot get our dress or our playing gears the day before the match.
Shami, I know just who they them do that. They do it all the time. So either them get rid of Gilbert and find a new sponsor that can supply
Mel,
us with
we can't get
the
rid of Gilbert. Remember, there's a money issue as always, so we can't get rid of Gilbert.
I get what you're saying, but from my understanding is that every time the contract run out, them still go sign it back again.
Yeah, but probably this is the first time it is happening with Gilbert Reed. That issue.
Hello, it is
But
not the first
remember,
time.
I remember when we signed a contract with Gilbert, it's not a 1 year or a 2 year or a 3 year contract.
I get that. I
Sammy, them
understand.
just
but
signed
we
a contract
have been
with Gilbert, Sammy.
Thank you.
But then I am
Because it
saying
is-
that listen to me now. I am saying that instance was the first time we not get we clothes from Gilbert, which was a Gilbert fault. That's what I am saying.
Right. This
On
is
the
the first
other
time
hand,
the issue is Gilbert.
On the other hand, it is always Netball Jamaica who
Netball
probably
Jamaica,
order
right.
it late. But I heard that it was ordered back in January. Because remember, we weren't the only team affected
When you're sure, say January, my mouth.
That's why I said they said January.
All right, that strikes a very important chord.
Sir, I'm just saying we've been with Gilbert since I've been playing netball. Like this is from 2004, 2005. I have been with netball has been with Gilbert for that long time. And you're telling me throughout that time you can't risk it and go and find another sponsor or something? Like it's always Gigi, hang on. It's always what Gilbert can give us. But I'm like, if you don't cross over the bridge, you're not gonna know if the grass is green on the other side or whatever, whatnot. We're always with Gilbert. Always. There is no other brand on our uniform except for Commonwealth Games when Puma is sponsoring us. But other than that, it's always Gilbert. And I'm not saying that this year was their fault. I'm just saying, like, let's risk it. Let's go and find another sponsor or something like that. Other countries have done it and they are successful. So why can't we go and find somebody else?
Another issue we had was nutrition. So we went to South Africa, which was new to all of us, basically. Netball Jamaica had the hotel that we were staying at provided nutrition for us. However, persons like myself was having difficulties with the food. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't a situation where it was the choice of food. Just that eating the food made me sick. I went to the manager that was on the tour, and the manager told me that was the only option. So everything I didn't think she went further than just herself to say, and I think because the manager is the treasurer, she would have known where money issue is, but I don't think she went further than herself. So she left it at, you had to eat what was provided and that was it. So myself ate nothing, a couple other persons ate nothing, or we went to KFC, which is not good for athletes in competition. After the issue was brought up, the president and other members of the board were saying if we had voiced their opinion, it would have been different, which we had. And like we said, another situation again, communication, it stopped at her and it didn't move past us saying to the manager, basically. So that was another issue.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. So we see that in terms of the uniforms, that there were some delays. We see that in terms of nutrition, there's more that can be done. Right. So I've noted that. Now let's move to a different discussion. Personalities. To what extent are there personality issues from the leadership, right? That is affecting how the teams are able to do their best. What kind of personality clashes have you seen, or personality issues, and have you seen that is really hampering the success of the team? You can call names, or you can be very poetic about it.
Sir, can you repeat for me, please?
Yeah, personality. Are there any personality issues that's affecting the team, either particular people in the leadership, that when you try to share, what is going on? Because clearly, most of these issues that are being raised are not new issues. These are things that have been happening for a long time. So to what extent is there a personality issue? You can put notes in the chat if you don't want to say anything on the mic.
I love
Romelda,
chat.
go ahead.
I love throw my foot under the bus. I thought that there was some gaps between coaching and players. I think a few of the players were struggling with the coaching part of it at the end.
All right, so rephrase that for me. So you're saying there's some kind of gap between the coaches and the players. Unpack that for me. What do you mean?
Yes, sir. The girls can talk about it.
Okay. Oh, you're just introducing the thought. All right. Okay. So let's see the tidal wave. Who would like to demystify what Romelda is speaking about? She gave the poem. We'd like to hear some real stuff. Katie, go ahead.
Sir, me. But may I beg you something? Rephrase your question again. I don't really catch it. I want to see if I catch it. So I want to know if I catch it.
All right. Okay. So what we're trying to get at is that, to what extent are there people issues? So we speak about the structure, the organization, the funding, these big, lofty things. But many times the problems can boil down to a particular person who is an obstacle, a particular person who doesn't have the team's best interest, and therefore we can't move forward, right? To what extent, based on what we have all shared, there's a people issue, a person issue, or personality. I use the word personality so it doesn't sound like you point at one person, right? But I was throwing it out there just to kind of hear to what extent that this gets very personal or very individual. All right, so think about it. All right, I know in sessions like these, when I raise this part of the question, not many persons want to say anything because, of course, you don't want to call out names. So I wanted to direct message me if you think there's something you want to say here. Rochester, go ahead.
No, sir, I'm not ready for talk. Yes, when me ready, may I go end the session.
All right. I was about to choke on what I drank a while ago. All right, but so that's with
okay. Sir, let me talk.
Yes, Romelda, go ahead.
Probably put my hand in my foot in my mouth. Is that right? Put in my Gigi. So I noticed like on this tour there was a lot of separation between the coaches and the players.
Yes.
And I think it's more of, I don't know if it's a lack of experience, which causes, I guess, like the coach to be the way she was. I also understand why she was the way she was, but I think let me not say the coach, let's say the management team, because I don't want to single out anyone in particular. I
Right.
think yeah, I think this is the management team. I think sometimes it's just lack of experience. So people don't actually know what it takes for us to be at our best level and how to communicate with players so we can get the best out of the players. Because there was a few scenarios where I thought that we were like road to goal, like we were in the zone and we were going there. And then I'm going to say white noise on the outside. I think I don't know, I've been in teams where, you know, there's a lot of white noise going on outside, but it never affected the group. Whilst no, because you know, like it's the straw that broke the camel's back. Like one weak link, it can just throw off everybody. And I felt like it did happen in the group and people were thrown off. And I think when it comes on to communicating with players, like obviously not everybody can have like some players you kind of have to, I guess, understand to communicate with them and not just generalize. Because some of us, we have to we've grown thick skin over the years. So we kind of like understand how to communicate and work with people. And I think like there was a lot of white noise outside, which really affected the group. And I feel like the management team could have done a much better job at keeping that to themselves and not I guess like making it affect the group or saying it to people so it affected the group.
Yes.
It wasn't the management team, it was the president.
Okay. Well,
there
I
we go,
didn't
the
want
president.
to say
I can call names, the president.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
All right. Thanks, Romeldo, and thanks for being more spot on, Khadija. If you agree with what Romelda has said, you can just type R in the chat. If you agree with what Khadija has said as well, even though very short, you can type K in the chat. All right. We want to kind of get a sense of the pulse in terms of how deep and how specific this issue is. All right. So use the term white noise, Romeldo. Can anyone explain what Romelda means when she says white noise? I don't want to ask Romelda directly, but can someone help to break that down, make that a bit more clear? Because what I'm hearing is that there are other things that were going on that probably maybe the coaches.
Make Romelda tell you exactly what she means.
My ear see? My ear Me be ear.
Go ahead, Romelda. We don't want to misrepresent you.
Well, I specifically, I know of players that felt like they were more fun, like outside piece, rather than feeling
as you
like
said, the separation.
Pardon?
Yeah. Yes, concurring with what you said earlier about there seems to be a separation between coaches and the players.
Yeah. So I think like with having that, like I think players kind of felt like they weren't a part of it. And it's kind of like like I said, it's probably not having the experience. Sorry, where you gone?
Yeah, man, I'm here. Yeah, man.
I said it's probably lack of experience when it comes on to communication. And I think like, for example, we did a play New Zealand or something like that, and some shit did go down and words were said and the person got called out in the meeting. And I felt like those were some of the things that we didn't need at the time, because I'm telling you, this group was focused, like focused. And I felt like that kind of like threw us off a bit. And like I felt like that we couldn't really regain our focus because of what had happened, and we thought that everyone was buying into the same thing that we were trying to achieve. And by people tiptoeing around us and making side comments or not believing in our ability as players, I think it really affected us as a playing group.
Right, yeah. Because I mean, right through the competition, you were the favorites to win the competition. Is that right?
Sir, listen, I've been in teams with a club team in Australia and Jamaica team or just some pickup team. I'm telling you, this team was hell of a focus. Like we felt it, like all the girls over here playing SSN, like man, like everybody feared us. Like that was the fear going into the competition. And I think like even the girls back home, like the way they talk about how they're training and they're holding their end of the bargain. What's that? It really, really like put fire on their feet for us to play. I'm telling you. So, and I think that probably goes back to us like building our mental strength capacity. So, yeah.
Thank you, Romelda. I really appreciate you really just being very clear and unreserved, right? I get it. I hear what's happening. I'd like one or two other persons to just say a little bit more based on what Romelda has opened up. Your perspective, even though it may sound like you're repeating or there's an overlap with what Romelda has said, add something new to the discussion. So we have Rochester, we have Abigail, Crystal, Jodis, Shanice. I'm inviting you to say anything either on topic or off topic, very personal or just taking it a bit on the safe zone. It doesn't matter. I'd like to hear your voice on this. Rochester, go ahead.
Sir, hi. What's your name? Mr.
LG.
LG.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Sir, what's the next step from this debrief?
Okay, so the next step is to basically kind of summarize in categories the key issues. And then what I'll be using is a 7S model that basically gives a set of recommendations for management to now pursue and to show the implications that if management doesn't act now, that there will be certain serious implications that will be almost irreversible that will happen with the team. One of the main communications that I have already kind of pre-prepared for management is that the team feels crushed by what happened most recently, and the many problems that have occurred over the past decade in particular, right? If they're not resolved in a very surgical, in a very serious, in a very systematic and structured way, we won't have the same netball team again. All right. So the 7S approach looks at recommending a new strategy for the netball team, which may require a replacement of particular people who are in leadership, who you either identify personally that need to change, as a structure which can be compared to the other countries, netball teams that we don't have. Like, for example, someone said that, hey, they don't have a reliable or dedicated nutritionist, or, other team members that are needed, the kind of compensation that they need in order to be dedicated to the team where that is needed, to recommend the systems that are needed, systems in terms of practice, training, reviewing of how team members are progressing, game preparation, right? How do we track player performance, injuries, and any deficiencies like what some persons mentioned in the discussion so far. The fourth S is skills. It assesses skills, the capabilities of the players, the strengths, the weaknesses, the skills and capabilities of the coaches, the strengths and weaknesses. And then to look at how we can evaluate the coach, the coaches, and the support staff of the coaches. That's in terms of either their experience, in terms of how they communicate, that's between coaches and players. Are the coaches helping to motivate the team to be able to do their best, or are they being negligent in areas that they should really be helping the team to not be distracted by the noise? Someone said white noise, and to really focus on the matters at hand to help them to win the games. The last two S's is style. That's what as I mentioned, personality. Are there any personality issues with leadership or the team culture, right? And to basically outline for management, what can be done in the short term, what can be done before the next World Cup games, to be able to make a difference in that regard. And then the last thing is a set of recommendations for leadership to demonstrate in a serious way that they're really committed to the players, the development of the players, and to signal greater funding that will help address certain gaps in what the netball team, the netball association needs. So it's a fully comprehensive report that will be coming out of this, with particular timelines that they'll be held accountable to. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
So this is a conversation with that difference. Right? If I've been asked to come in to listen, either heads are going to roll in some respects, or some other changes have to be made, right? Because we're coming to fix things, and to fix things in the way that represents the voices in this part of the conversation.
So in regards to what you mentioned, that means if you have not yet met with the board or the management side, you would be meeting with them in order to get their side so that you can summarize and then you can use your 7S model.
Yes, yeah. So there are different groups. So you're the first group. That is my priority, right? And I'm going to hear what management has to say as well, to maybe add some additional context, because there may be certain other constraints, lack of competency, right? Frustrations, sabotage, vindictiveness that may be happening. I mean, I don't know. I'm a clean slate. I have no particular position, right? So that when these recommendations are being made, that we're able to make some meaningful change in the reality that exists, with the people that exist, right? And then to be able to report back to you in a different session as to what a meaningful change has occurred in the last 3 months, the last 6 months, the last 9 months. All right, so that's what we're looking at.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Katie, go ahead. We're wrapping up in 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, wrap up. Well, sorry, me no. For me, this is a change for the future. The debrief forms. I don't know if this is going to be a new form of how we debrief a tour, But hopefully we get rid of the debrief forms that they send emails, or if not, can they ask different questions? I don't like a debrief form where, personally, I don't know if my teammates will agree, but personally, I don't like it when we go on a tour and you're asking player, like all of the questions surrounds the players. Like, I would like to know if, like, the boss, the president, knows if the manager did the job, the physio did the job, the masseuse did the job. If she wants to know, how would she know? Like, us as the player should get a question or a target question asking around that stuff. I don't see any of those questions being asked. Like, I'm tired of, can Jamaica rank 1 in the world? If I believe that Jamaica can rank 1 in the world. Yeah, we believe, but there are some things to help us to take us to that state. But I don't see the things being asked. Like, how you know if the manager did the work? How you know if we get proper food? How you know if the injured players were properly taken care of so them can perform at their best? How you know that? Like, it's just a question, you know? But I like to get asked or can answer. So each and every player can answer it.
Right, yes. Yeah. So I mean, I take what you say, especially that's the kind of technical questions that the forum may ask may not be as relevant to what is truly needed. It's like, you know, speaking to a box when the issues are bigger than the box, right? Yeah.
I mean, they can still ask us our personal question and goals and whatever, but I mean, you need to know about the behind the team. Sorry, sir, I'm just a freestyle at this moment. Probably this will go on and on topic, but I'm just like give it to you. And that just come to my mind. But yeah, it's fine to know about the players, but I mean, you would want to know about the team that you send with the team to get the job done.
Yes, point taken. Thanks so much.
All right, sir. Since we have 10 minutes to wrap up, probably we can use that 10 minutes here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, blow up the place now. Your time.
Yeah, I'm gonna take 10 minutes. But anyway, I've been listening. Some things I've heard, some things I did not because I wasn't too focused. But I remember since Romelda was so vocal, I remember she mentioned that, I think she mentioned something about communication. I should have written it down, but I did not. But she mentioned something about communication, about lack of communication.
Yes.
And now I have to reiterate on that in the sense where since I've been in the program, that's one thing that is always at the top of the list that needs to be fixed. Now, I know looking at it, thinking that it's not really lack of communication, but I don't know if this will make sense, but the lack of ability to learn how to communicate. Since communication has always been outlining that it is a major breakdown in the program. And it doesn't matter since I've been there until now, it is the number one thing. So I just think that it's not just solely the lack of communication, because if you don't know how to communicate, you will always have lack of communication. So my thing is that persons do not know how to communicate. Why? I don't know, but I can probably assume that I don't have the interest in learning how to communicate. Listening is a part of communication. If you don't listen well, you cannot communicate effectively, right? And sometimes you're not even allowed to voice your concern or voice your opinion because you are deemed disrespectful. Sometimes, I mean, players as well might not we also have our faults. We might not know exactly how to communicate well as well. And so maybe the breakdown is in both, but the breakdown are really in the management. My player never communicate well. Now, when I look at it, because I think persons have been in the program from their a very tender age, right?
Yes.
Persons are still be seen as children. And so that is one of the things that causes the ineffective communication. Because when persons say particular things, it's like everybody a picnic. There are no adults on the team. No, you're talking about persons. Let me just drop it at 18, right? Since 18 are the age of consent, I think, or 21, one of them. But let me drop it at 18, sir. And I don't think nobody's below 18. I'm referring to even the workup team, and I'm even referring to persons who have been in training during my time. And I really look on it, you know, sometimes, sorry, sometimes the English have come, sometimes the patois. But yeah, sometimes when I look on it, you know, I say, it's like them people that don't see we as adults. They don't see us as adults, because there are certain things that we will say and there are certain things that we will request. But then the responses are like, why you need this? Yeah, Pitney, you don't need this. Me give you this if you want. That are the response. That is it for me. I'm not talking on behalf of nobody. I'm talking on behalf of myself right now. I'm a part of the team, but I'm talking on behalf of myself. Right? When Jesus, something slipping on. Yeah, but the communication group. Wait, sir. Communication group. If we go right on it, you know, oh, if you slip me, Jesus.
No. Let me recap. You have said some very important things that should not just, you know, be caught and then let go. We need to hold on to it. I mean, so you're saying it's not just a communication issue, like it's this big cloud communication issue. It's really the persons are not applying the skills that make up good communication. One of them is to listen.
Precisely.
Another thing is how you treat the person while you're trying to communicate with them. Not treating them like a child, not belittling them, not you know, trying to say, oh, you don't need this, you don't need that. And it's as if there's a parent-child relationship here rather than a coach-player relationship, or a management to, you know, the team relationship. And it is that kind of culture and communicating that has created a kind of toxic environment, particularly for those, you know, who have grown up in the team as young players growing up. It is as if there's no way to respect the adulthood and maturity that has taken place, where you are now a more seasoned player and you know what you need, you know the areas that you need to grow in, and it's as if, you know, you have to do as you're told, and it's like they have the chains, or, you know, or the hammer to stop you from the growth that you truly need, which will help the team overall to do better.
Exactly, and as I mentioned, that I was even thinking about, because as I mentioned that some persons have been there from a very tender age, and when I started, you know, they're going to always be senior and junior, and my seniors, every time I look back at it, there are some seniors that I will always respect, because it's like them know say I am an adult. I am adult and you're going to treat me accordingly. No, I don't know if because those adults are now gone, we are still being seen as the junior, even though we are the senior now. You understand? Those are some of the things. And it's like, even when we are trying to communicate, there are times when players are really disrespectful, including myself, right? Because of fed up and something, because we're trying to communicate, whether by we try to listen and then give back them some points or feedback or whatever, giving them respect. In not every team you're going to have persons who are confident enough to speak up, because some persons are going to say that they will listen to some persons. I mean, like the board or the management team will listen to certain persons while they will not listen. And sometimes it is true. And sometimes persons just allow other persons to talk because they will not talk in the forum that is here to be spoken in, but they will talk outside of it, right? So I am not going to just sit here and say, all right, it is just the management, it's just the board, because there are things that needs to be fixed both on both ends. But when I look at it, man, may I tell you, as I talk about as we mentioned about the communication, there are a lot of things inside of communication that needs to happen in order for communication to be effective. Now, when I talk about certain things, and a lot of times we ask for feedback, in the sense, I think feedback is one of the biggest thing to as regards to communication, because say we don't, all right, the association doesn't have any money, we have been told, and we are assuming too. So them not have no money, really and true, we don't know. We don't know if them have no money, because if we ask for feedback and we ask them, sometimes a little sponsor come up or whatever, and they will say, oh, guys, because the sponsor is now a training or we're in a setting where they say, oh, this is the person who give us sponsor this or sponsor the money, and everybody's like, what? Which money? We don't know. So now sponsor will feel like, oh, they're sponsoring, but we don't know about them. We can't know about them because that is not related to the team. Now, you don't need to tell how much money you get, how much, but you just need to advise players that at this time, this is happening now. I don't know if they have a calendar of events or calendar of whatever sponsorship. They're getting this, they're receiving this. I do not know. I don't know if it's a thing where, all right, because I know they said that players needs to focus on playing, which I totally understand. But players are also focusing on the things that involves us playing at maximum. Right? In order to play netball, it's not just to put on sneakers and carry and go on court and give 110. How you give 110, you have to rest, you have to eat, you have to be mentally prepared. It's a lot of things that factor into that. I know that the management side is hard. And I remember one of the management said to us that we need to get a fit in your shoe. And I totally understand and I agree, because I know it's not easy. We're not asking them to take stone and make bread, but we're asking them for effective communication by giving us feedback. Be confident in the things that you're telling us. Be confident in the thing that you're telling us, knowing that we are going to understand. But when we ask for this 2-3 years, and because we take a step and now we are going to tell you this, no, we don't understand that. We don't. We need communication to flow fluidly. We need that. And when it comes down to communication and you ask a question about personality, sometimes that is how the personality comes in. Because we're so tired of this. For me, when certain people come and talk, it's like my spirit cross. It's that I have a spirit that will just cross. And may I tell you, me have a prayer and ask God, say, allow the spirit not to take over. Because sometimes that is just the honest truth. When some people come and talk, and when some people talk, when you want answer, oh no, because of the person, I respect the person, so make me, because this person will try to give you information, will try to do this, will try to do that, while some persons will not do that. And these are the things that you need, you want when you have people, everybody is different. Everybody have them DNA. Everybody personality will not be the same. I may tell about my teammates, when we're happy, we're happy. I may tell you when we're sad, well, we're sad. And the personality are going to change. Everybody have their moment. Everybody have them time. Everybody have everything. But let me tell you, if them ask, when them tell you certain things, when you know say a lie, we decide, say, you know what, I'll give them a little truth. We believe them. My teammates are going to believe and just leave it. But when you keep on ask with things and different things, and no, okay, I'll come until you reach one crucial point, we're going to hear certain things, personality will change. Personality will change, but as it regards to like your personality outside of a situation and stuff, everybody have their moment, everybody have lives outside of netball. There are things, it is hard to go to work, it is hard to go to school and leave from that 5 o'clock or whatever time school done and go straight into training. It is hard to be compared to a top team that just a train, that have the equipment, where I get them nutrition up top and food they don't have, so and I train hungry and I train with headache and I train you cannot compare. You can't compare. Look, sir, you know what? That 10 minutes are supposed to do. With this seminar,
wow. I think you have gone through the full spectrum that everyone can at least resonate with and say, yes, this is exactly what we're talking about. We're fed up. This can't be tolerated anymore. And there needs to be a seismic change if we're going to get better results.
Sir, hold on. This is what this is what I wanted to say that Romelda had said. I think she had mentioned that is a lack of experience. And you know, while I agree with Romelda, I also disagree. You know why? Because you have these persons over and over and over. You have young persons who comes in the team trying to make a team, and while they might be up to par, sometimes the reason why they don't make the team, they're saying is that you lack experience. Now, if you don't have the experience, get out of it. Give somebody the experience. If a player cannot make a team and they're talented enough and they are playing better than persons who have the experience, but they can't make it because of the experience, then the management or whosoever there will lack the experience. You need to give somebody the position who actually have the experience, because the lack of experience is also contributing to all of this that is happening. That and I just don't, and I sometimes believe that it's not even a lack of experience, it's just the ability to just know, say, when I get this and that this happen, it's just for them way, I don't know, for we way. Sir, I am finished. I'm closing off my mic.
Dr. Jessica, thanks so much for that. I just wanted to clarify something. So when I say lack of experience, this is the lack of experience of the new talented players specifically. I just want to make sure that I have it right.
So I'm thinking she's saying a lot of times and a lot of the young.
Yeah, but what I hear is that there are some young players who don't have experience, but have the talent.
Time, Netball Jamaica's excuse is right. So that's what I'm saying. She's using them as an example. A lot of times the young players, Netball Jamaica's excuse is they don't have any experience, so they're not going to take them on the tour. But they're not doing that with themselves. If the management team don't have the experience, you don't take them either, because a lot of the time are them same one come cause the same problem. Basically, that's what she's saying. So they might use players as them scapegoat, and then now I use management team as them scapegoat.
Right. Well
Can I
said.
just say something? I'm just gonna go off the back of. Me didn't tell some don't talk. The back of what Girly just said. As it relates to experience, I'm speaking, I should have been more clear. Like, for example, like the management team and us as players too, because I think you never know what color the grass be unless you cross over to it, right? When I said experience, I mean like if the management team can go, I don't know, overseas and just experience what it is like for players to be performing at their best. Like, what are some of the things that the players need? Then that way, when we ask for things, it's not like it's like an entitlement, and because you know, Chimera doing this or Romelda doing this, we should be doing this. No, like it's actual things that athletes need to perform. Because like, have a look at Usain Bolt. When Usain Bolt did roll him ankle, and we over Germany him go, which means the necessary things that he needs to perform, it is not in Jamaica. So then he goes to where it's best, or where him taking manager, and the manager see all of them something, and I say, yeah, that's what they need to perform. So I'm just saying, maybe they just need a bit more experience. So when we ask for things, it's not like we are fight them for it. Or me know say both have money. But like, you know what I mean? Like when we are asking things, it's not like we don't want it or we want to do it because we're friends that do it. No, like we actually need stuff. So maybe they don't have experience in that area where when we ask for things, they don't understand why. So obviously, if you don't understand, you're going to deflect or answer with a defense line. So maybe
Romelda, Yeah, Romelda, thank you for that clarity there. One of my suggestions regarding the clarity we sir can put down when they meet them is to say that if you just like how players try to get contract to go overseas to get these experiences, then they can try to get the experience in a managerial position on the team. I don't know if that can work, but yeah.
All right. Okay. So we're seeing that the team is being hampered by inexperienced management or management that who
Oh,
have not.
sorry, me not take
Yeah,
up the
right.
time, but not just management. I mean, from the head president, right there. So,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Yes. Yes. All right. Good. But let me just clarify something. So are you saying that the president or other senior managers don't go with you to the games?
No.
That's
I am saying the
Hmm?
training to get the
Oh, the
practice.
training.
It is from
Okay.
the head to the foot.
That's right. That's right.
So the board
All
will
right.
revamp.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we have 3 minutes, and I would like anyone who has not really said anything to have the premium invitation to open their mic and bellow something, make some noise, say something that you really want to say, but you don't know, you didn't know when to say it. And this can be off topic, on topic, ahead of topic, whatever it is.
I
Is
would
it
like to
Shanice?
say something.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Shanice Beckford. Sir, I'm not saying that you're wasting your time, but I think we have been in this position over and over and over and over. So it sound like some scratch record, broken record, everything. And I can speak on this because I'm one of the leadership on the team, and I've
Yeah,
been back
Shanice.
and forth with the management. And I just feel like, because even the day that we played the third and fourth, we had a debrief in the night, in the wee hours before we packed our bags to get back. And we spoke about, we had our listing. Myself and some of the girls, we met and we talked about the things that we need to be fixed. And these are the core pain that we have been having over the years. Like, it's a 4-year cycle, about 3 years, 4 years, over the years, even 8 years. Because I'm one of the senior players and I've been in it from I was a wee little girl going up through the program. And yeah, with communication, the main pain, everything. And I really do hope that your approach makes a difference. As I said, we have been in this position before and we have not seen any change. I hope your words, everything that you're taking from this meeting, reach Netball Jamaica here. As Girlie spoke, as the rest of the girls spoke, we are fed up and we are tired and we need to fix this for the next generation coming through. Because most of us are going to have our sneakers because we've been in it for a very long while. So we really need this thing to be fixed. We really
Right.
hope your app make a difference because honestly, we are fed up. We are fed up, and the entire, well, I wouldn't say the entire board because we do have one and two persons who get the job done, but we need a team behind the team, and everything starts from the head or straight down to the tail. So we as players can be sticking together and looking at the goal, and the management is doing something else and not looking at the same goal that we are looking at as well. So I really do hope your approach makes a difference, and I really want to hear the feedback after you go through your different sessions. So that's just my piece.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Shanice. And that's a great way to kind of round things off. I ask in part to Shanice, Romelda, Girlie, and Katie, if you can send me your contact numbers directly to me via Zoom. I have a few other follow-up things, and anyone else who wants to share the phone number. But those particular persons, given that you participated a lot.
I'm retired.
Yes, do that.
There's
Go
only
again.
comment number you
What's that,
want.
Shanice?
You know what, Girlie number?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Please. I ask you. I mean, share your contact number with me, because this is the exercise with a difference, a major difference, right? So I mean, I've been asked to, do a survey, meaning actual survey that you complete, but when I got more information about really what is going on, how long this has been going on, I realized that it was more important to have this first engagement or discussion, where really the real truth unearths, right? There will be a short survey still, but it's going to be a customized survey based on what has been shared here. So in other words, it would be for you to kind of say that you agree, I'm going to be sharing a few statements, about 10 statements that reflect based on what this conversation has said. And then all that you're asked to do is to show how much you support that statement or not, okay? And then there'll just be a blank box for you to share anything else that maybe you didn't get to share in this session that you can share there. But I've captured most of the points, and I've been able to kind of prioritize them based on how serious you have been able to communicate it to grab the attention of senior management. So all that is noted. Hang on for one moment. There are a few direct comments here. Hold on. All right, so one of the things that we're doing differently is that this debriefing is supposed to and will lead to an escalation of issues.
I don't cut you. I just
Yeah,
want to ask
Shimon.
one burning question. Like
Right.
all of my teammates, them would have like, you know, when are we getting a function from Netball Jamaica based on our bronze medal?
There's no function?
I don't hear anything.
Really? Okay, all right. No, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that there's actually no function, or at least
Well, I
never
don't
heard
hear
anything
anything
about
about it. I know the
Right.
I know the other one with the minister. I don't know Netball Jamaica keep it. I
that.
don't.
Right. Yeah, so one of the things that is coming out of this is that we're going to be escalating this way above even the management, right? You know, to the ministry, to if you need to get audience, a prime minister, whoever, right? To really make this ring in a way that makes some kind of change. Unfortunately, in our Jamaican context, we have to really heap fire at a higher level in order to get some change at in the areas that really need the change, right? So the last question that I have for you, and I want you to either type it in the chat or to say it over the mic, is if we're supposed to have audience with someone, right, about these issues, and when I say someone, no, I'm talking about either an agency, a politician, a government official, an international official, someone who you think can really make a difference, right, outside of management. Who would that be? What ministry would that be? What foundation would that be? What kind of person would that be? So that we can get to real change. The reason I'm asking is because, as you know, I prepared the notes from this particular session and some recommendations that come out of it. We want to make this be brought to attention of other key persons and possibly potential sponsors, right? To know, you know, really the seriousness of the situation and the need for support to make a difference in this. So if you have any suggestions, please put it in the chat. If not, if you need time to think about it, that would be one of the questions that's in the survey. The survey will be out next week this time, right? And if, through Dwayne, we will set a timeline as to when you can expect some feedback, initial feedback. And just like when you order something from Amazon online and you're able to kind of track where it's at, we're going to provide that kind of mechanism for you to know where things are at. Is this now at the board level attention, or is there going to be another kind of you know, a hearing in a sense at a higher level beyond the board? We're going to keep you posted on those things so you can track the progress of what has started from this discussion. All right. Yes, send you the tracking number. Yes, girly. All right, great. Khadija says, I think we need a players association that will vie.
Oh, yeah, here coming early because we never identify.
Oh, okay. Yes, go ahead. Someone said, sir.
Can escalate this for me. When are we getting the function and when are we getting compensation from Netball Jamaica? Can you escalate that for me, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So that's where we're going to leave it this evening. Thank you so much for making the time. I know that this debriefing comes with a bit of skepticism, given that you've had other situations like this before. We're doing this with a strategic difference. Okay. So please look out for a survey, and then there'll be a correspondence that will follow thereafter as to where things are at in respect to the key items that you've highlighted. So thanks again, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I just leave. I'll just hand over to Dwayne to have any little final words before we officially dismiss.
Yeah, sure. Elliot, thank you so much for leading the charge. I was taking some notes, I was wiping some tears because I mean we got the real, heart-jerking, tear-jerking moments where the ladies were sharing the different scenarios, and I'm agreeing with them. Yeah, kind of fed up. We need some change, and that's why I personally reached out to you because I know you're somebody who can help us. And they talk about people with skills and people with know-how, and so you kind of find the right set of people to lead different charges. And so I want to just thank you for the time that you've shared and also the time that you'll be giving to help us to put something like this together. And not just a report that will sit on a shelf, but something that have legs, that the ladies also can help to track as we talk about the tracking number, and then also help us to know who are the other key people that we need to talk to make things happen. It can't stay the way it is. We kind of have to do some stuff differently. And so I really want to thank you for them. And I want to thank the ladies also for sharing as frank and as open as they did. Again, I say the reports will not have names in it, who said what and so on. We're not in that particular business. The business that we're in is change and trying to see how we can get that done. So really and truly want to just say thanks to everyone who has been a part of the process. And we're just getting started. We need to just keep this wheel moving, further and further on a progressive footing. Katie, I think I saw a hand.
Yes, sir. I just want to know if you two are going to, are you on our side? Well, not side, but are you with us, or are you just having a mutual conversation between Claire and contingent?
Yeah, they're mutual. No question. Mutual friend, mutual.
But if you're backing us, I hope to see you again. Because usually when people back home, we not see them again, them just vanish. Because I think you guys have done a good job at interaction and so, but don't pick a side. If you pick a side, usually when people pick we will not see them again. But best of luck, and I enjoyed this encounter with you guys.
Thanks so much, Katie, and thanks so much, everyone.
All right, team, we'll be in touch.
Thanks, Dwayne. Bye.
Bye.